So they keep saying that it's about player safety, but there's no data to back up that. And I've watched a lot of football. I've watched a lot of tush pushes. Pause. What's going on, RBA fam? Welcome back to another episode of the Think RBA podcast, where real ballers adjust. I'm your boy Ken, with me my man Hak, as always, back with another episode. Sir, why don't you give us the rundown for this week?
Man, we're going to talk about March Madness, Final Four. We are there, final stage. We're going to talk a little bit of NBA news, right? Little Stephen A drama, right? With that round two, get to ring the bell. Talk about Dame being out, potentially some silver issues that he may be discussing. We'll talk a little bit about that. All-Star game, whatnot. Sleepless in Seattle. Is Seattle getting a team? Are they not? Talk a little bit about that. The Ovi update, right? Is he going to reach the great? Is it the great 8 reach the great 1? Talk about NCAA football, Colorado, Neon Dion, what is he doing? Cha-ching, making some money. And a little bit of NFL news, the Tush Push. More contract extensions. Coaches for coaches, though. Not for players, right? And some movements, New England, Giants, some acquisitions, some names, some big names. Is it going to help? So, sir, where would you like to start?
No, let's start with March Madness. That's at the front and foremost of everything happening in March, right? So
that's a good point.
Let's go with March Madness. And just like we all thought, right? We talked about in the very, very, first recording, I think a couple weeks ago, when the tournament opened, right? It was March Madness or the lack thereof. And now, granted, there's been some good games in between now.
Yes.
From that point until now, we've seen some more games. We've seen some buzzer beaters finally. There's been some fun stuff that's happened. But ultimately, we've ended up with all 4 number 1 seeds as the Final Four. So we've got Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. Kind of what we all expected when this whole tournament started, right?
That's the projection. But is this the first time ever, though, where all number 1s have made it?
I don't think it's the first time ever, for sure. I mean, I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but
there's always that one, like, number 2 seed that makes it, that 3 makes it.
Yeah, there's been, I think I'm fairly confident there's been some other times where there's been all 4 number 1 seeds, but clearly, like,
as expected,
dominating as expected.
Right.
Though there was some tough games for those teams to get in. Mm-hmm. Not every team rolled to the Final Four. Yeah. Some did, but like Houston just escaped in to make it out of the Elite 8. So that's what I'll ask you next. Our pick, right? Mm-hmm. So our previous pick, I think we both picked Houston.
We did.
My question for you is, before any games are played, right? It says Saturday. What does it say? March 30th. March 30th. Gosh, time flies,
man.
Do you want to change your pick, sir?
Absolutely.
Or
not.
Are you going with Houston?
I'm going to stick with Houston the whole way through.
Sticking with Houston.
I mean, listen, we've gotten this far. Why not a little more? Right, we're getting near the finish line now. So I'm gonna stick through. Stick through, my guys. Okay. There. What about you?
Houston.
Change your heart?
No. Houston is a great team. A great team. They got heart. They got skill. They got great coaching. They got talent. They've played some tough games. They've been scrappy, and they're better than Auburn and Florida. I like Houston a lot. But I'm gonna go full villain mode.
Oh, I love it. But I turned heel, went to Duke, I'm assuming.
I'm gonna change my pick.
Wow.
Officially become a Blue Devil. Fun fact about Ken that you don't even know.
Okay.
You've been my boy, my best friend for a good decade plus now. You don't know this. Fun fact about me.
Okay.
The middle school that I went to. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Because there's lots of middle schools out there.
Sure.
We were the Blue Devils.
Were you?
We were.
Wow. Okay.
I
did not know that.
We were the Blue Devils.
Okay.
So I'm gonna channel middle school Ken, and I'm gonna say Duke. First of all, okay, like, they're so good.
They are good,
dude. They're so good.
I know.
They're so good. Cooper Flag's a freaking monster.
He is.
He's a monster. They also have, like, what feels like 5 million 7-footers or almost 7-foot 6'11" guys. Like, they got these big dudes. They were running the pick and roll beautifully the other day. I was like, I don't know if Houston has enough to beat these guys.
I don't think so either, but I think they, through everything you mentioned,
you
just need one game.
You only get one shot.
Yeah.
One opportunity. You're going to seize the moment.
Anything can happen.
Nah, Cooper Flag, Duke wins. he gets tournament player. He goes off number 1 overall pick. It's a wrap.
I mean, regardless, he goes
It's
number
a wrap,
1 overall
but
pick.
it's a wrap. I mean, dude, they're gonna win.
That's the way to cap it, right?
They are gonna win. I have to change my pick just because, not because I want to, not because that I'm wishy-washy, but it's just very clear to me that the Duke Blue Devils are the best, period. As a matter of fact, let me take it back. The Duke Blue Devils are, best, team, in this tournament, period.
Wow. So you're going to be a Dookie.
I will be a Dookie for...
All right. Well, hopefully they don't put down a Dookie when they play. Remember, it's just one game. It's not a series.
That is true.
So let's hope
that is true.
For your sake.
But no, I mean, Duke, they're just way too good.
Okay. So let's go to the women's side.
Women's side. So we don't have the full Final Four yet. Right. We only have UCLA and South Carolina. So we still have I think USC is playing UConn, Texas, and TCU. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2 on the other side. In the women's side, it was 1 and 2, 1 and 3. So South Carolina number 1 beat number 2 Duke. Number 1 UCLA beat number 3 LSU. So same thing on the women's side. No,
the top seeds.
Yeah. I will say that. So USC, number 1 USC versus number 2 UConn, gonna be tough.
Of course,
because USC lost Juju Watkins to an ACL.
Ouch.
So I mean, when you lose that's tough.
Ouch.
And UConn's got Paige playing very, very well right now.
Yes, sir.
Playing really well. I can't see how UConn does not come out of that.
I mean, as expected, right?
It's one. Well.
No,
I think the injury changed,
of course,
a lot of that significantly, because I think that would have been a much tougher game. But I think that they win easily. Texas, TCU, we'll just assume Texas rolls as the number 1 seed, and we end up with UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, and UConn. I'm definitely gonna take. I don't remember who I picked, to be honest with you. Did we pick the women's side last?
I don't think.
I don't know if we did. But I'm going all in on Paige. South Carolina usually is like the powerhouse team, but I'm going all in on Paige and UConn.
Okay.
That's
UConn, bro. UConn women's UConn basketball is It's like, you going with Duke.
South Carolina, Dawn Staley though.
Agreed.
He's won multiple chips. They know how to win. They know how to recruit. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. I think UConn, South Carolina for the chip will be same thing. If we get who we get on the men's side. On the men's side, we would get. I'm hoping it's going to be
Duke versus, for your sake.
It will be, so Duke and Houston are playing. It'll be Auburn, Florida. I would like to see Duke Auburn.
Duke Auburn.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know about Florida. Florida's kind of. Yeah, Auburn's tough.
Okay.
Auburn's a tough team. But you got Auburn, Florida, SEC, 2 SEC schools going up against each other, pretty wild. But the one thing that I wanted to mention on the women's side, we talked about it the last episode, was the scoring, right?
Yes.
And that was after round 1 and how many 100-point games there were and
the disparities.
And how many the disparities. So that continued into round 2.
Yeah, that's shocking.
LSU, number 3, beat number 6 Florida State 101-71. Maryland, Alabama went into 2 overtimes.
Wow.
111-108 Maryland won. 111-108.
That's awesome.
Then we had some low scoring. Duke women beat North Carolina 47-38.
Okay.
Low scoring.
It must have been a great grind game.
But round 2, you had USC. First game they won, that was 71-25. Next game they played Mississippi State 96-59. Oklahoma, number 3, beat number 6 Iowa 96-62. Number 2 UConn beat number 10 South Dakota State 91-57. You just have a lot of these really high scoring games that I think that we just were not expecting. What do you attribute to the increase in scoring? Is it the skill level difference between how the women's game focusing a little bit more on fundamentals, or is it the disparity in talent? Like, what do you think it is?
I think it might be. I think it's a combination of 2 things, right? I'm gonna say I don't watch a whole lot of college basketball in that sense, especially the women's side. But from what I've seen, it's it's 2 things, right? It's 3-point shooting. They're great shooters, a lot better shooters, I would say,
than historically.
Correct. The ball is a little bit smaller, right? I don't know if that makes a big difference.
But it's always been that way.
It's always been that way. And the better schools just recruit better, right? Better talent wants to go to better schools. Probably are not as many more talented female players at that level yet, as the sport is getting more popular. So that could be that, you know, the lesser schools are not able to tap into that type of talent because that type of talent doesn't want to go to those type of schools. Whereas at college men's basketball, right? What do they say? 6'6" is a dime a dozen. You're not going to get that on the women's side. So it might be a little bit more select and harder to choose from.
I think just the general pace is up too, and I think it's a reflection of what's happening in the NBA. And I think that the men's game will probably catch up too as well. But I think it's somewhat attributed to that. And they are just, it's the Steph. I think the Steph effect is fully around to everybody because you know, even before, you know, the whole Caitlin Clark phenomenon, right? Like, just you didn't have historically women shooting threes to that extent.
Correct.
You have, of course, they can shoot,
even men,
right? But like, it's because that Steph effect is getting them to do that. But you know, women's basketball has always had more of a focus on the fundamentals. Right. That's my point of view only. Right. Not to say that the men don't have fundamentals, but it's a little more flashy play. It's dunks, lobs, you know, transition threes, whatever. Versus the women's game is a little bit more half court. Right. And so you are forced by that to focus more on skills and, you know, footwork and passing lanes and angles and plays versus just more general athleticism. Like, okay, I'm going to set a pick and roll and lob it up to a 7-footer. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a big difference.
Sure.
Right. When you're not lobbing up to a 7-footer on the women's side to dunk it, you know, 3-4 times a game. So, you know, I just think that that's probably part of it, but this is my 2 cents.
No, I mean, I can see that. But so, ready to move on?
Yeah, let's go.
To the more dramatic part of the NBA.
Ding, 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 ding.
So, sir, Stephen A. said, you know what? I hear you, LeBron. Because LeBron went on...
Well, that was actually... Let's take it back before we even go there.
Okay.
LeBron said, I heard you. So this is LeBron versus Stephen A. part 2, right? Just to catch up. I mean, I'm sure our viewers have all heard it, but you know, situation happened at the game. It went viral. Stephen A. said, I wasn't planning to talk about it, but now I'm going to use my national platform to talk about it. And then also go on multiple different podcasts and talk about it. Like, he seized the moment. And LeBron was quiet.
Yep.
And quiet. And then all of a sudden, I was shocked when I saw him pop up on Pat McAfee.
It was awesome.
I was so awesome because LeBron doesn't do that.
Correct.
And like, they were in town to play the Pacers.
Yep.
So he rolled up. By the way, Pat McAfee's an ESPN show. Stephen A. and First Take is an ESPN show. So...
But when Bron comes through,
I mean, we might have Stephen A. versus Pat McAfee coming up soon. I'm just saying.
Listen,
and I don't think either one of them will give a to go head to head against the other. Because when you talk about audiences,
correct,
the Pat McAfee audience is no joke.
Correct.
If there's anybody that could go head to head with him, it's Pat McAfee. But anyway, I digress on that. Yeah, LeBron went on, spent a solid, hour?
Hour and 15 almost.
With Pat, addressed the multiple things.
Yep.
It was so good. Like, it's so great because he's such a guarded person.
Yes.
And even like the other things you see him in, like the shop or the mind the game, like, it's still a filtered version, right?
Sure.
Like, he rarely does
these external interviews, right? Anything that's beyond uninterrupted.
Right.
He generally does not do.
Right. So he went on there. And of course, Pat McAfee and team made sure that we got to talk about it, right? We have to do it. And LeBron has some comments.
He did.
And so LeBron resurfaced it because it started to kind of simmer down a little bit. Sure. And then he went on there as like, let's go ahead and talk.
Stir the pot a little more.
Stir it a little bit more. But in a fun way. I mean, I thought it was the mic drop, right? When he said he's been going on a Taylor Swift like tour, and as he was talking, it clicked in his mind. They're like, oh, he's gonna eat this up that I'm talking about him,
right?
And then you could see him like that moment.
It was
he immediately
calculated.
switches,
you could see it.
And he's like, oh, and he's probably going to love that I'm talking about him sitting at home in his tighty whities. I was like, yo, this guy LeBron. Oh, my God. It was awesome
seeing him in that like different aura, different space. Yeah.
And to me, I was like, oh, that's a mic drop.
Yes.
Like,
well, you thought it was.
Because you're like, yeah, you say you're not going to address it, but yet you start doing a media tour around it. And I think he did Gil's podcast, right? And he did a couple podcasts.
He did a bunch, yeah.
Yeah, he did a couple podcasts. They're like, dude, stop. Like, and so it could have stopped there, but then Mr. A continued to then have to respond again on First Take. And you know what it was nothing new. His response to me was nothing new. It was all the same. I never talked about his son. I would never be disrespectful. I'm only there to critique an athlete and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's the same stuff. He didn't provide to me any new data points for me to consider whether he was in the right or wrong as a fan or a viewer, right? So I don't know if it did for you or not, but my question to you is, when will this end? Will it end?
So here's what I'll say to you on that. I like to be the kind of person when you respond, you say your few words and you leave it there. You don't get into a bickering, bantering back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. LeBron is somebody who doesn't generally do that. Even in the past, if you look at all his press conferences and post games, he doesn't get into a lot of back and forth, right? He'll say his piece and he'll then leave it. Let y'all do what y'all want to do with this. Stephen A, a person who's constantly on the mic, kind of get tired of hearing that over and over and over and over again. Like what new, as you said, substantial thing have you brought in front of us?
Right.
So it's like old news, right? Too much talking, it's watered down now. So,
I almost feel like, I'm glad you said too much talking, because I almost feel like the more you keep talking about it and trying to convince people that you didn't do anything wrong, is like,
the more you're defending,
maybe you actually did.
Correct.
Right? Like,
guilty conscience almost.
Yeah, maybe you were in the wrong.
Correct.
And you know you're in the wrong, but you're trying to argue your way out of it.
If I say it enough times, you may believe me.
Right. Like, let me argue my way out of this hole that I've dug.
Correct. Whereas I feel like LeBron, I'm going to come in, say my piece, less is more, right? Give him uppercut, I'm out. Mic drop, it ball's in your court. What do you do with it, right? Because I'm done. I walked off the court. I hit the game winner. I walked off the court. You can stay and talk all you want about it. Right. Reviews, all that, whatever. Good for you. That's where I feel like this is. At this point, after LeBron, I'm going to be honest. I didn't even bother to care what Stephen A has said. I don't care. I'm not going to go check it out because the game's over.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
No, I mean,
I love what he said one thing. He's like, I'm going to stand up for my family. Right. And same thing here. Boom. I'm out. Boom. Game's over.
No, I'm
out the stadium. I'm out the arena.
It was a 2-round TKO.
He ethered him, bro. This was ether. For me, this was ether.
Yeah.
Not as profane, but it was ether.
It did feel like we're building up this whole like Biggie Tupac situation. And that's the way Stephen A's carried himself around.
I'm not even giving him that much respect.
He trying, but no, it was a 2-round TKO because round 1, LeBron got him when he approached him in a game, and not at the beginning of the game, not at the end of the game, but in the middle of a timeout in the third quarter. Like that's some boss level shit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna walk up to you courtside and I'll be like, yeah, I know that my team is in the middle of a game and I know we're in the third quarter, but I'm gonna address you and I'm gonna say what I need to say and I'm gonna walk away because you ain't gonna do nothing about it. And you can go on your little whatever, your platform, and you can say whatever you want. That's fine. To me, he still won round 1. Then when he came in round 2 and said that, yeah, he's gone on this Taylor Swift tour, like, oh, it was a wrap. He won round 2 too.
Bro, so round 1, to me, the point, I didn't even care about the third quarter and all that, right? Because that also tells me, like, I must have gotten in his head that much that he had to get up and come here.
I know what you're going to say.
You sure?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
The part that told me that he won round 1 was when he started head bobbing. Oh. Bro, when you are standing on top of a man less than 6 inches close to him, like you his daddy, and you head bobbing, I'm sorry. Like that's a violation of my personal space. And you as a grown ass man sitting there allowing this to happen, not backing up.
Allowing? What choice did he have?
Correct.
LeBron's 6'9".
Correct.
Like,
so you let this man head bobbing you, right? When that head bob and that proximity it's a wrap.
He didn't have a choice. He had to. You let him. What was he gonna do?
It's a wrap.
Oh, and that's something Stephen A did talk about dropping hands. I was like, that's crazy.
Dropping hands.
Yeah, with LeBron. I was like, that's crazy.
Is he on the prescription plan too?
He must be on some good.
It's some good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm sorry, Stephen. You know my favorite one? Oh, I didn't even talk about this. Did you see the clip that LeBron put up on social media about Stephen A boxing?
Yeah,
bro. Yo, I was done.
Yep. Yeah,
was done.
I mean, he said, LeBron.
Now he's trolling him at this
TKO.
point. Yeah, it's a wrap.
There's no coming out of this on the other side for Stephen A. He got to just let it go. Let it go.
So you're going to take it on the chin like a man and just let it go, bro.
Let it go.
There we go. Hey, be careful.
I know.
We can get the Elsa's treatment
That's right. All right.
All right, sir. So, yeah, that's on Stephen A. But let's go to some serious news, right?
Yes.
I would say some unfortunate news.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard is out indefinitely. Heard about the blood clot in his leg.
His calf.
Bro. And it's like first Wemby, now him, right? Some of these superstar players are out for the season. This close to the playoffs. How does this impact them?
So for me, I don't even give a shit about the playoffs or whatever. I'm not a Bucks fan either, but you
don't fear the deer?
No, I don't fear the deer. But to me, when I heard the news, I didn't think about playoffs or how this impact. To me, it's dude, anytime you hear blood clots, forget basketball.
Sure.
It just in life.
Yep.
One of your friends or your family members, so I have a blood clot. Nobody is oh yeah, that's minor. They're no, that's some serious shit.
Right.
And so to have 2 in one season is kind of freaky to me. Because I feel like it's been a while in the NBA since we've had that. And also too, you've got both extremes. You've got a rookie, phenom. You've got a veteran superstar with different issues, different times in their career, right? Whatever, different body types, all of that. Yeah. But yet still, getting diagnosed with this very, very serious thing. So for me, it was more I just hope that he can get better and play basketball again. For the sake of him. Right. And for the sake of him, I hope he just gets better, period. Right. But for the sake of us as basketball fans, whether he comes back for the playoffs, in the playoffs, next year, 2 years from now, I just hope that it's not something that keeps him from being able to play, right? It was when Bronny had the heart issue at USC, right? Something else LeBron addressed very well in that Pat McAfee interview, by the way, that I really found that whole part of the conversation very interesting. I didn't know LeBron had issues too. Right. So I was you learned something new. But just you just hope that for us as basketball fans in the basketball world that he's able to come back. And so if I'm the Bucks, I'm not even worried about what's going to happen in the next 3 months. He needs to take care of himself. Absolutely.
And that's where I was when I heard it, right? Oh my God, another superstar that's suffered a similar type of diagnosis, right? One, he comes back healthy, as in to be able to do, forget the fans, to do what he loves to do. Right. Right. To do one, he's healthy and lives a normal life one would want to. And two, I'm able to do what I love to do for a living. So I hope those two things align and he's able to bounce back quickly rather than a long recovery period through it. And basketball is just all right, I'm good. Let's make this happen. Let's go back to what I love doing, what I do normally, right? Give long range buckets and whatever else, and we can enjoy more of him. And as far as, for the team, I'll say RBA. Right? Yeah. If I know he's a critical piece, but you got to figure it out, right? You won without him. Figure it out.
Well, that's what Doc said. He said it's not going to be just one person stepping up, but multiple people are going to have to step up. And
it's a team sport.
It is. It's like if Steph went out, right? Correct. You're not going to just fill that void with one person, right? So
and you can't. No. So our well wishes to Dame.
Yes, sir.
On the flip side, though, the Grizzlies. Doing some craziness.
Crazy. I'm really want to know what your take is.
Bro, so they fired their head coach this close to the playoffs,
9 games.
9 games away from the playoffs. He's the winningest coach in franchise history. Yep. So, and after how many, 6 seasons or so?
6 or 7 seasons, yeah.
Right. You get rid of this man this close away from reaching the ultimate goal.
So they were on a bit of a losing streak.
Sure.
But they're still, I think, were they 4 or 5 seed?
And that's the point, right?
Fighting you're
in the mid and above.
Yeah. You're there. You're in the mix. Correct. You're not in the play-in.
Correct. And even when you do play, whichever team you play is going to be in that middle area. You're not going to play, it's not a 1-8, 2-7 deal.
But I think that was from what I read, some of the concern was they were going to be
sliding down,
potentially sliding back. And basically what I read was that, he had quote unquote lost the locker room. And that's why they felt the need to make the change. But to me, it's just very you're 9 games away. from the end of the season.
Right.
And then the playoffs are going to be the playoffs. Like, it's unheard of to fire a coach, barring like if there were some kind of other scandal tagged with it, but just like the team is not performing. Well, the team is in playoff position. Right. They're not in the play-in tournament. Like, how do you know for sure? And we don't know the inner workings of the building. So obviously, I'm sure they feel like they know. They made the decision to do it. But to me, it just doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense whatsoever.
And I agree with you. That's literally what it was. It's like, you're in a culture, you're in a system, like 6-7 seasons into this system and culture that you built slowly to get to this point. And you're there. Each year, you're technically supposed to get closer and closer, but you're this close to now going and trying to get that ultimate trophy. And unless there's some serious scandal that's going to come out later, it just doesn't make sense.
The math is not math.
The math is not math. So outside of that, I haven't seen a Shams update on this the whole. Maybe there's a background thing happening in the I don't know about.
No, other than the GM reiterating again that they are comfortable, they felt good with the decision to do it, but I don't know. So you're gonna rely on an unproven interim coach to try to rah you through the playoffs? Like,
I don't know.
Okay.
What I'll say is he may find another position at another team that may need one, a coach who knows how to win, or at least get his team to that point.
Yeah. But he's a good coach.
He's a good coach, right? And this is barring any additional information that may come out that we don't know about. Sir, the commissioner of the league came on, got on the mic, and had some mic drop moments, right? He gave some updates, talked about how the All-Star game this year was an airball. I'll just say that. It was an airball. Not too pleased with the outcome of that, how that played out, like how there were just overly long breaks in between, and we as fans felt it. He came out and just validated some of those those feelings. He talked about expansion, some overseas stuff that they're looking into with the EuroLeague and FIBA and whatnot. More details to follow. And then he talked about expansion even locally, right? With the Boston Celtics sale and Minnesota sale. He's talking about, all right, we may need to expand a little more. And they have their eyes on one city in particular, which I think a lot of fans, and this has been in the talks for a while, right? And I think the term you came up with was, or not came up with, but you expressed was sleepless in Seattle.
Because they are getting sleepless in Seattle.
Very sleepless.
Waiting for an NBA team.
Correct. But he came out and also said that is a priority location for them. So, and I'm going to get your take on a lot of this. One question is, right off the bat is, so you got sleepless in Seattle, right? We got a team in Seattle. That's the West Coast. That's the Western, right? On the East side, which team then counterbalances that? What city would be the balance to that? Something for you to think about. So between the All-Star game take, the revamping it, some ideas, and I've heard some NBA players talk about it, and then this expansion portion of it. Sir, what are your thoughts?
First, for the All-Star game, we talked about it afterwards, and we came up with some different ideas. Obviously, I think the major drawback were the long breaks. I mean, that was just a little too much, and it felt like they were just doing too much. They were trying to squeeze in all these extra appearances and special things, and I think it would have been fine if they just had run the mini tournaments. But we had talked about other ways to make the tournament a little bit more fun, like whatever, you can go back in the archives and listen to it, but I think there's still ways you could do a tournament style and still have it be engaging and still have it mean something. Bottom line is it's a miss, and I think that's the words he used. So it was a miss. It was an air ball, but it's going to continue to be a miss. It's going to continue to be an air ball until the players collectively decide that they want to play defense. That's the bottom line. Whether it's tournament style, regular style, I think they talked about the whole world versus US, because biting off of the hockey piece. When the Four Nations tournament we talked about a few weeks ago too. But then he was saying that it's kind of the world, the global NBA has expanded so much that it's not any one particular country. It's whatever. There's a lot of pros and cons to all of it. But the bottom line is, to me, it doesn't matter what format they use. If the players decide that they're not going to play hard, correct, it's not going to matter. And it's not going to be entertaining. So, figure out something to get the players to play hard, or just don't do it. Just don't do it. Like the NFL said, we'll just do flag football and skills things and have fun. It's not a serious quote unquote event for them. Right. It's just a time for players to go out there, have a little mini vacation, hang out, do some skills stuff, They make it fun, like, you know, how they did with the Manning brothers, and every event calculated a score. And then at the end, it was this team versus this team, and what was the final score of everything, all the different events together.
It's like field day.
Right? Exactly. So, I mean, just the NFL has figured it out to me. Okay. Right? And we know that it's not supposed to, as a fan, right? As a fan watching, I know that I'm not watching something serious. I'm just watching for entertainment.
Right.
Versus the All-Star game where you're pushing, like, we're going to have this All-Star game. It's going to be competitive. And like, no, it's not. Like, you're lying to me. Stop. So to me, it won't matter what format they use if the players don't play hard or don't play, you know what I mean? Hard enough. Like, don't play defense. It's basically the bottom line. There's plenty of offense.
Sure.
It's great.
Right.
Play a little defense.
So it's a dunk drill, layup line, or dunk line, I guess.
Right. I mean, I'd rather watch Mac McClung do 10 more dunks than the layup lines or the 3-point, you know.
Sure.
Or do like a little mini 3-point shootout in the middle of the game. Or like just like, but I think bottom line is, if they want to take it seriously and they want us to take it seriously as consumers, they have to find a way to incentivize the players to take it seriously. Otherwise, they need to scrap the seriousness of it and just sell us on the entertainment and make it silly and make it fun. Like, okay, I'm not watching down to watch a competitive game. I'm watching this other thing that's going to be presented to me.
Got it.
And I'm going to do it because LeBron's there, AD's there, and Trey's there. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. But you know what I'm saying? You know, like, that's my favorite player. I want to see him break out into a little 3-point contest with Dame and Steph in the middle of the game. Yeah. Right. Let's see who can make the farthest logo 3 in 5 tries. Like, just some dumb shit. I don't know. But like, again, I know what to expect going into it.
Right.
So I'm going to hold on my other takes in case you...
Yeah, no, all very, very valid points. The one thing I'll say is different from the NFL and like the Pro Bowl and the All-Star game is that the Pro Bowl, it's sold as a fun type of event, right? Because of the safety factor, the risk of getting injured. But not always. It used to be, correct. After Sean Taylor laid out the kicker.
But I'm saying, that's where I'm saying, like, the NFL used to sell it as the same way the NBA does now. It's this competitive.
They used to, right?
You have an MVP at the end, and the MVP gets a trophy and a car and all that. Like, but they realized that wasn't working when the ratings plummeted.
Right. So on the flip side of the NBA, I think it also comes down, like when I was talking about Kobe Bryant, right? When he played in the All-Star game, he played it as, and there's plenty of shorts and clips out there of talking about it. It's a collection of the best players, and the fans want to see the collection of the best players playing competitive basketball against each other. That's the way we come into it.
But they won't.
But the players themselves don't have that same mentality anymore that they used to. And that's where the disconnect is, right? They come in as it's a Pro Bowl for them versus it's a serious competition for us who are viewing it. And that it's not meeting, right? And that's the part the NBA is trying to fix. That incentive, what is the incentive? I don't know if there's an incentive out there. How much more money are you going to throw at these already all-star superstars, right?
More money. but I'm already the best. So remember that commercial, Kanye commercial?
Kanye commercial, the Cove, right? Like, so that was the thing. Like, I will say some NBA players talked about this on a different pod I heard. I can't remember the name of the pod, but they were talking about and we talked about this in one-on-one tournaments. Now you have to play competitive basketball,
right?
Because you can't look like a fool in front of everyone watching you play one-on-one basketball. And this was a thing they used to do back in the day, where Kareem would play one-on-one against Dr. J. Kareem killed him, obviously. But it was one of those things, right? Like LeBron, KD one-on-one. Who would not sit to watch that, right? Steph versus, I don't know, Dame, long-range shooters one-on-one. Who would not sit to watch that? The Embiid Joker one-on-one. These are the kind of things like Wemby and, I don't know, pick somebody one-on-one. Those are the competitions like I would love to watch. And if not that, you take one rookie from the team and one veteran, 2-on-2 tournaments, 3-on-3, I don't care. But make it competitive, like you said, defense. But I think those smaller teams may have the competition aspect of it. So like you said, either you make it like a fun, gimmicky type of thing, or you make it serious, but sell the right product to us so we come with the right expectation. One thing I think that hurt them a lot, there was no rematch of the Steph Sabrina from last year 3-point contest, right? That fell through. Like, I was so excited for the 3-point contest just for that post contest that was gonna happen, but they scrapped it. So now, like, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I didn't really bother watching a lot of it because it was just not really interested.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, again, because they're not selling the right product.
Or they're not selling it in the right way, right? There's a misalignment of it. The employees and the management are not clearly, very, very clearly. On to the Seattle, all for Seattle having a team. And man, if I were to pick an East Coast team that currently does not have a team, I would go locally. I would go locally. Okay.
And go with Baltimore. I think Baltimore would be, and can you imagine going and you bring Melo into the fold from Baltimore?
A lot of Baltimore Hoopers have come out. So yeah. Okay.
I'm just trying to think East Coast cities that don't have a team. You have the only other one I thought of maybe would be Pittsburgh, but I don't think Pittsburgh's the best. Baltimore I could see as a basketball team.
Okay.
I think Baltimore would be my number one pick.
That'd be your number one pick? Okay. For me, I love Seattle getting a team because that's been in talks for over a decade. I don't know how many decades, right? That's been, I really hope to get a team because Seattle's also given us a lot of great hoopers, right? IT, Jamal, DeJounte Murray, all these guys coming out of there. And on the flip side, bro, I can't believe you said Baltimore.
Because that's what you were going to say.
That's exactly what I was going to say, bro.
I mean, there's not, think about it.
I think about right off the coast of 95, right?
Yeah.
All the lines, boom, you're just hitting the chain right down. And that's where the big gap is, right? Between Philly and then the next team's where? DC.
Washington, yeah.
Right? So there's that huge gap in between.
Yeah. Well, also, too, just thinking about East Coast teams. I mean, East Coast cities, who else, from major cities?
Well, then I thought about, the Carolinas, but then that's a big college type area. Right,
they already have
Charlotte and all
Charlotte,
right.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I thought about Pittsburgh, thought about Baltimore, but then all the other. I mean, I'm sure that's in the comments. People can throw some cities that we're not thinking of, but I mean, up and down the coast, there's pretty much every major city. I mean, maybe Tampa.
Florida already has 2 teams though.
I mean, in other sports, they have 3-4 teams.
Sure, so, but Baltimore doesn't.
Baltimore,
have any
I think,
team.
is the one though.
Yeah, they have 0 teams, right? So
Baltimore is the one.
Give Maryland its own team.
Yeah. There's Maryland hoop scene is nice too.
It is nice, right? Yeah. KD, Melo, right? Ty Lawson, these guys, there's hoopers out here.
Mike Beasley,
yeah. So I think that'd be nice, man. I'm just
Baltimore. That's so funny.
Yes, sir.
So funny.
Let's talk about the MVP race real quick.
There is one.
So apparently there is one on social media.
Apparently there is one, and they're not going to like our take about it.
No, they're not.
As the consensus is,
it's easy. It's a runaway.
But I know why. It's Shea. He's the current leader in the clubhouse because he's leading the league in scoring, 32.9 a game over Jokic. And I get it, right? It's like winner's fatigue, right? And we talked about this on this, but when you're so good, and it's okay, but I've already seen you do like when Russ was put up the triple double. Okay, I saw you do that, but you did it 3 years in a row. I saw you do it once. I saw you do it twice. You've same thing with Jokic. You've had yours. Yeah, you want a chip. Who's the new shiny toy that I haven't? 32, almost 33 a game. I understand that's, I believe, my personal opinion, that's the general psyche. I disagree wholeheartedly, but I don't want to steal your take from you. So because I'm gonna drop the stats.
You drop this, okay. So before you drop stats, what I'll say is this: I think Shea, he is the shiny new toy, and not just because he's been doing this, right? He's done it consistently year after year, but this year he's doing it a little at a higher clip, higher rate. The thing that puts him in the lead, I believe, though, is that remember, what do fans want to see? More points, more action, higher scoring games. The points is a premium, right? That category of scoring points is the premium. It's weighted, right? It's remember weights getting weighted on your grade on exams? That's what it is. It's a higher weight, it's a higher grade. And that's exactly how I feel about it. Because it's not just about that. As a basketball player, how my efficiency should be across the board, not just in one category. And just because scoring is higher doesn't mean that I'm really the best MVP player of this season when it comes to other stats. So, sir, I'll throw it back to you. Why don't you give us other stats? So
my counter to that, though, is yes, that's great. And there's this long, I forget what NBA player was being interviewed. I saw it and they said Halliburton. When I grew up, it was the best player on the best team was your MVP, which he would fit that category.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Although I don't know, the Cavs could have something to say about that best team too.
And
but nobody's talking about
them.
Donovan Mitchell.
Correct.
But the fact, did anybody think that Cleveland was going to be in the position that they're in this year, where they're 60-15?
Right.
OKC 62-12.
Third time in their history,
right?
60.
Number one seed, like clearly they're almost 5 games ahead of Boston.
Yeah.
Now OKC is 13 games ahead of the number 2 seed, but that's indicative of the conferences, not necessarily the teams. But again, nobody puts Donovan Mitchell in the conversation, even though he's in the second best team. But I digress, because he's not scoring 32 or even 30 or not even 27 a game. So I get it. It's cute. It's nice. You say, he scores, and he's a young guy leading this young team. I can see it from that aspect. Okay, I really do. I really can understand it, and I won't have that much heartburn if he actually wins.
It's not Shea hate.
But when you actually sit down and get beyond the surface and look at the numbers, okay? So Shea is top 5 in 2 categories. Number 1 is scoring, and he's tied for 4 in steals with his own teammate, actually.
Okay.
Right? So he's in top 5 in 2 categories. Jokic is the number 3 scorer. So he's only 3 points per game behind Shea. Okay? Let's think about that.
Sure.
3 points a game. So he still scores a lot. Well, he's also number 2 in assists. I mean, he creates a lot of scoring too. So he's at 29.3 points. Again, number 3. Number 2 in assists at 10.2. He is tied for second in rebounds per game at 12.8. So again, a triple double.
Yep.
Right? But he's also second in steals per game too at 1.8. Like, this man is top 5 in 4 different categories, and not even top 5, but like top what is he? Top 3 in 4 different categories. But like, how sway
So, you know what I'll say is this though? What's crazy is that he's a center.
He's a center.
Right? SGA is a point guard, shooting guard, playing those hybrid positions.
And look how athletic he is, and then watch Jokic play. Like, it's unbelievable. Did you see that backward? Like, bro, he just like, and he doesn't even love basketball.
That's the crazy
He loves
thing.
his horse farm. Like,
what's crazy is how he's a center.
It's just his job.
A center in top 4 or top 3 in steals is what's crazy.
Crazy.
That's unheard of almost.
Crazy, because everybody else is guard.
So my other question though is this, and we can do some fact checking later. How many games did each of them play or miss? Right, which will factor into this.
And same thing too with assists. Everybody is guards except for him.
Which is what makes him the unicorn, right?
He's
the ultimate.
But again, that's why, like, how do you not give him MVP?
It's the fatigue, right?
It is the fatigue.
So you know how I was say that either you live long enough to become the villain?
Right.
That's what's happening with him now.
But hey,
you want too much.
He's so good.
You winning too much, bro. I need you to slow down winning.
If he was scoring like 20 a game, maybe. But he's 3 points away per game. Like, if he wanted to, he could cut down his assists by like 2 a game and be scoring more than Shea.
Correct. Or another question is, how many minutes are each of them playing? Right, because that can factor in playing time. He can get another extra bucket or 2.
That too. And I mean, now granted, right, OKC has 62 wins. Denver only has 47. So there's a disparity there in terms of wins. But still, like, at the end of the day, to me, it's so hard to deny when you have somebody that stuffs the stat sheet, and it's not like he's on a team with a bunch of scrubs either.
Correct. They're good players.
He's playing with Jamal Murray. He's playing with Michael Porter. Like, there's a lot of mouths to feed.
Absolutely.
And he's still killing it.
As a center, though.
As a center.
That's what's crazy to me about steals as a center,
as an out of shape center. Like, I mean, he's in basketball shape, but he's not like, he doesn't fit your mold of a typical basketball player.
He does not.
Crazy. No, to me, Jokic is my MVP.
He looks like a guy who's great at horse farms. So,
Jokic is my MVP.
Our respects to Jokic and Shea, but I feel like for this season, the real MVP is Jokic.
Yeah, it has to be to me.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So let's move on. Ovi update, sir.
Yep.
Ovi is about what?
890. 5 away. And I'm just gonna leave this because we're gonna move on to other topics. So I'm gonna leave this with you. Right. Still on pace
Yep.
One thing I love that I knew it fits the whole idea of real ballers adjust and the whole mindset that you have to have because they're on a 3-game losing streak heading towards the playoffs. And so when they asked him about 890 which he scored, he wasn't too thrilled about it. He was like, it's good that this is happening in the regular season because like we got to get off this skid. We got to start getting back to winning before the playoffs start.
There you go.
Because a 3-game losing streak in the playoffs gets you out, right?
Boom.
So just that mindset of like, I'm not going to celebrate the individual accomplishment when the team success is not there. Love it. And then also add to that he's missed 16 games this season. So can you imagine how badly he could have beat the record?
Yep.
If he didn't miss the 16 games this season?
Right.
I'm just saying.
I want you to hold that thought for our RBA moment.
Okay. All right.
At the end.
We on to
or
the next
RBA. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the RBA.
Gotta get it right. Gotta get it right.
My bad. So let's move on real quick. NCAA football. Dion
Cha-ching.
inked a deal. Sir, tell us the details.
It's all about the money.
All about the Benjamins.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby. Yeah. Colorado. So there was talk, a little bit of talk about Dion maybe going to the NFL. You know, both his sons are looking like they're headed to the NFL. Travis Hunter headed to the NFL. Maybe Prime will make that move. Had a little conversation with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. Nothing materialized. Signed a brand new deal with the University of Colorado, making him, I believe, the highest paid coach on a per annual basis. But 5-year extension, $54 million. I think he's making 10 to 11 ish per year. They vary year by year, but it's double digits, millions each year to continue to run the Colorado football program.
Hey, so man, good for him.
So good for him. Good for the University of Colorado.
Yes, sir.
Because they're going to keep getting studs as long as he's there.
Correct.
I love, this is a side note, I heard recently that he is trying, how like in the NFL in training camp, they'll do scrimmages against other teams. So like we'll do a practice scrimmage. Like we did it last year, I think, with the Dolphins. Did a week of practice scrimmage and then we played a preseason game. He wants to do that against other teams.
That's awesome.
That doesn't happen right now.
Okay.
And so, I was listening to somebody talk about it and they're like, oh, college football world's probably not ready for this because of injuries and this, that, whatever. But he's trying to approach things differently. So I love the like creativity and thinking outside the box. And also too, the other piece, and I'll shut up after this, is I love the fact that his son gets to go and be coached by somebody else, right? Because sometimes you just, in my opinion, right, I've had it with my own son, right? Like I just want him to get another voice, get a different voice. Right. And, get trained by somebody, get into a different, in his 7-on-7, right? Like get a different coach, different voice in your head. And I'm pretty sure that Prime has been coaching him his whole life, basically. So I think it's great. Get to the professional level and not have to deal with your dad as the head coach. I think that's probably the best situation for him.
Okay. I'm going to play devil's advocate just for fun. If your dad is a Hall of Famer and is considered a GOAT, I don't think any other coach would be able to care for you as much as your own father would for your success and to prepare you and get you ready for that moment like your own father would. So, but I do agree with the different voice part, right? And it would apply in his situation because it's not the same position. He plays a different position. Whereas basketball's a little different, right? So football's a little different in that sense. So that's where I'm just having fun with you. But I do see both sides of the coin, and I think they're both equally valid.
I think not having your dad as the coach in a professional, like now this is your job now. This is not just doing it for fun. This is your job.
This is your job, right? So let's move on. A little bit more NFL news now. We were NCAA, little NFL news. Real quick, my friend, in 2028, flag football will officially be a sport in the 2028 Olympics.
I love it.
And did you see the handoff from Paris to LA? Jalen Hurts. Oh my God, bro, it was so beautiful.
I did not. But I love it.
It was a 30-second clip. If you get a chance, check it out. Jalen Hurts obviously coming off that Super Bowl win, getting those endorsements. Getting the love, right? It was beautiful the way they did it. Real quick, what do you think? Flag football, official sport, Olympics finally here. One thing, they're open to allowing NFL, CFL, UFL, different levels of players, even non-football playing players across sport participate.
Are they doing a men's and women's team?
That I do not know.
Because girls flag football has blown up.
Has it?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Dude,
So
girls flag football has blown up. So I hope that they do. I have to go check it out. No, I love it. And I think that look, tackle football is always going to be the love, but there's this growing thing for, parents that worry about CTE and all of this. And it's a way to still enjoy the game of football, which, obviously it's not the same as tackle, but flag can still be pretty fun too.
Oh, absolutely.
And fun for kids to play. So it gives an outlet for those kids who, if they weren't allowed to play tackle, can still do something, but also make it to, if they are good enough to that kind of level. I mean, that's become an Olympian and flag. I love it. I absolutely love it.
What I love about it is also, like, you brought up the girl side, right? That's a whole nother avenue, that more opportunities for them to come out and become stars in that arena. Yeah. Granted, every 4 years versus seasonally.
Now, but play devil's advocate. Because why not?
Why not?
Where's the competition coming from?
And that's the part I was going to ask you, right? Sure, it's a big thing in the States.
Yeah.
Maybe North America.
Is Russia going to have is China or
I don't know, but it could grow.
Brazil?
It can grow.
Brazil's going to have a flag football team?
Maybe in the future.
So this could be a way of making football global.
Right.
I mean,
right.
But I would be very interested to see, because you're talking about 3 years from now?
Yeah.
So countries.
Well, they're playing England. So
flag football?
No,
really?
Real football. So maybe they can develop into that.
What do you mean real? You about like tackle football or
doesn't the
soccer?
NFL have games over in London? The London?
Yeah, but not with NFL players from here.
But I'm just saying to expand the sport.
I would just be very curious to see how many countries start fielding flag football teams.
You got to start somewhere.
I know. Well, right? Of course.
Lacrosse is starting this year. It's a new thing. Cricket is starting as an Olympic sport. These weren't Olympic sports before.
Wait, so is the U.S. going to have a cricket team?
Who knows? It's the number 2 sport in the world.
I know. You always say it all the time.
Hey, all I know is that the what is it? The person on IG with the most followers
is a cricket player.
When you add LeBron, Steph, KD, he has more than them combined.
Yep.
Tells you how big the sport is, how far behind we are.
No, I would just be interested to see what the competition is, and it should be like that. It should be like basketball, where something we dominate year after, Olympic after Olympic after Olympics. I mean, it should.
No, what I'm actually interested to see is which there's a lot of dual sport athletes.
Right.
Here's an opportunity. May a dual sport athlete show their other talent.
Right.
Who knows?
Or even find a retired athlete who still got it.
T.O.?
That's the first name I was going to in my head.
Oh, boy. Dion? No, he won't do it.
He won't. No.
He won't do Usain Bolt?
For the Jamaican flag football team?
Yeah, super athletic.
That would be interesting.
Just really saying, interesting. Just putting it out there.
Put it out there.
Yeah, why
Absolutely.
Not? Well, let's move on to one of my favorite sessions of this whole thing. Deep or not that deep, sir. So let's move on. Tush Push. The Packers we brought it up.
Deep. I'm going to stop you right there. Deep.
And what do you mean deep, though? Real quick.
So the fact that it's gaining support, right? So that was like the new thing. It just actually right before we started recording, got the ESPN notice that the Tush Push ban is gaining support. Is deep from the aspect of how soft,
how
soft the rest of the league is.
I just want to know which teams are supporting it.
Because they keep saying they keep saying that it's about player safety, but there's no data to back up that. And I've watched a lot of football. I've watched a lot of Tush Pushes. Pause. But I've never seen anybody get hurt. And by the way, right, if they did ban the Tush Push, you still got to deal with Saquon with 1 or 2 yards to go.
Correct.
So either way, you're screwed, one way or the other. But I think it's deep from the aspect of the fact that the league is just the whoever is going against this is just soft. SAWFT. Shout out to my wrestling side, but just soft. It's just a soft mindset. It's a soft thing to bring up. Learn how to stop the play, bro.
Well, I'm gonna softly move on. John Harbaugh, 3-year extension. Till 2028, sir. What do you think?
Well, I think it's deep, but it can be deep either way depending on where you are.
Okay.
I think it's deep in the fact that Baltimore's always in the mix, right? Like you never look at Baltimore and be like, yeah, they're going to have a terrible season, right? They've won, he's won a Super Bowl, but then there's also deep from the other side. I sent it to a Ravens fan who was like, well, he's only delivered one Super Bowl in 16 years. And his consistently keeps missing it, and some want a different voice.
Okay.
And now they're not going to get a different voice because they got him locked up for another couple of years.
Yeah.
So, for those who may be on the side of wanting a new coach to do something different with Lamar or maybe do something different to push this team past the Chiefs and the Bills, to get to the Super Bowl, again, that's deep for them too. So it just depends on which side of the fence you fit in.
Got it. So it's deep both ways.
I think in this league, again, as a fan of a team that is not always in the, I'd rather be at least in the conversation every year.
There you go.
It might suck not to win every year, but only one team can win, right? But I would take multiple winning seasons and knowing that I have a chance to get to the Super Bowl every year over hoping to make the playoffs, right? I'm just speaking truth.
My God, throwing shade at his squad.
I mean, but there's a lot of squads like that, right?
That's
if you're
true.
a Raiders fan,
Right.
I mean, it's like this hope every year, and then after the first month of the season, thankfully I'm not in that boat. But after
thought you go to Cowboys.
Cowboys too, same thing, right? It's just so again, would I rather have and again, getting a good coach who can coach hard and coach tough, what you're getting, and is gonna get you there. And has at least delivered one.
Okay.
That's the other thing. If he had never won, it's like Tomlin. Tomlin, again, won, been there for a long time with Pittsburgh. Do you can him and bring somebody else in new who you might end up with 3 straight 4-win seasons?
One is more than none. So let's real quick. Some player movements. Stephon Diggs, New England. New England.
Sorry, don't send him to our division.
So, what do you think?
It's deep.
It's deep?
Yeah, assuming he recovers healthy.
Okay.
Oh, that's revenge.
Oh, okay.
The Bills. That's revenge on the Bills.
Okay.
And quietly, New England has put together a little squad this offseason.
Okay.
They have
They got someone to throw them the ball.
They've made a lot of different acquisitions, a lot of different, maybe not some big splashes other than maybe Diggs, but they've quietly made some movements that they might, I don't want to say be back, but they might push
on the
they're not going to be a pushover.
It might be an upward now, right?
I'm just going to say they will not be a pushover the way that they have been.
Well, speaking of pushovers and making splashes, we have the infamous Giants.
The New York Football Giants, your squad.
Sure.
That's why you're wearing the red, white, and blue right there.
Sure.
In their honor.
If that's how you want to say.
Yeah.
So the Giants have acquired. First they say, you know what? We're going to take Jameis. And then we said, no. We also want Russ. What the hell is happening over there? Are we still on the prescription plan? What is going on?
I don't know if I have a deep or not that deep for that. All I'm going to say is that I just wanted to see Jameis get the shot. And he might still. He could beat Russ out, right? But I just wanted to see Jameis get the shot. Let's get the shot. Give him a season. I just wanted to see it. I just wanted to see it for him. And now Russ get in there. Yawn. I'm not impressed.
Wow. Oh, we got some Russ hate. Russ disrespect.
I mean, he hasn't done it. I mean, you think about the last 3 years, right? The last year in Denver.
That's a valid point.
Terrible. Last year with the Steelers, terrible. What's going to change going to the Giants of all teams?
Well, maybe Malik Neighbors? I don't know.
He had George Pickens last year. I mean, Neighbors is better, but still, it's not like he had scrubs.
Sir, I don't know. I don't know what the hell the Giants are doing. Nor does
that's your team.
If you say so, listen. Between Giants, ATL, we're all in the same boat. And as far as the win column is concerned, but that's all I got for you. Anything else that any parting words for you?
No, sir.
All right. With that, thank you, RBA fan. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hak, Ken. Till next time.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.